because there are snowflakes, there are also flowers. Because there is the winter, there's also the summer. Hi everybody, I hope that you're having a nice week. So all of us, or most of us, have fallen into calling the other one names or insulting the other one when we are feeling upset because they have said something that have hurt us, or we are getting angry because of, something that they have done. And most of us, instead of, just dealing with the emotions, etc., we just attack or we defend ourselves. And we have, most of us, done this in our childhood, between children, but this keeps happening anyway in the adulthood. And why? Because all of us are human beings, okay? So this is like a defense mechanism or attack mechanism. And it starts like something, I don't know, like you are silly, and the other one, so you are stupid, and the other one, well, you are an asshole, and the other one, well, you've got a big fat ass, right? Okay, and obviously this keeps increasing, and with like other bad words, right? The thing with this episode is that I would like all of us to understand that this goes deeper than we think that it goes to, okay? So the first thing that I would like all of us to understand is that there is actually a difference, at least from my perspective, between what is really an insult and what is a general nasty comment. So the difference between both of them is that with a general nasty comment, you don't feel anything within you, okay? Like, it's not specific, it doesn't talk to you at all. Whereas with an insult or with someone calling you, names, you actually feel something within you. So, as an example, if someone is calling you silly, this is very general, okay? But if someone is telling you, you are too irresponsible, or I don't know, like you are a selfish, blah blah, and you feel it's because it has something to do with you. And this is where I want to go to, okay? Now, I said silly as a general thing, that it really doesn't have an impact for most of us. Depending on which level you are at, this could actually mean something to you, so pay attention to how you feel. But I want to say as well that if you happen to have had a brain injury or sort of like a mental health problem that has to do with learning or having some difficulties on that, and someone is calling you silly, guys, this is then, and you feel it, this is an insult because it goes specifically to you. Now, this is an insult, okay? Before, for most of us, if we don't have any brain injury, nothing like that, it doesn't really mean anything, okay? So this is the first differentiation that I wanted to make. We are talking about something specific that talks to you and about how you are, okay? Now, when someone is actually playing this game with you, it's because this is like their last bullet, okay? I mean, they have been probably trying to hurt you or to get you, and they can't. So eventually, when they have like nothing else to defend themselves or to attack you, because really so far you haven't felt anything, then it's when they use it, like, oh, you are this, you are that. Why? Because literally they have nothing else, okay? The other things haven't worked, so they are going to try with that. Other people are going to try this at the beginning, okay? But it could be actually the same thing, that they really have nothing to tell about you that could hurt you. So they are going to try, insults and calling you names. So I just want you to be aware of this, okay? Because then it means that you are actually okay, like you are doing a good job, because the rest is really not affecting you. So it has really nothing to do with you, and it has to do with them. I'm going to just start, and I'm just going to base this video on this, derogative thing that someone can call you, which is that you are a snowflake. And there's a specific reason why I'm using this, okay? So let's see that someone is telling you, you are a snowflake, and then you, because you feel it, you call them, oh, you are heartless. Okay? So we are going to do that. Now, why would someone feel annoyed or feel upset because you are a snowflake? Okay? Right. The first thing is contrast. And why would you feel as well upset because they are calling you heartless? It's the same thing. It's contrast. Why contrast? Because this is like an opposite of you. Okay? So, it could be that actually you are in a relationship with this person, and this person is reflecting you this opposite, okay? And you know, guys, how this works. You actually feel very attracted to that. Why? Because it's the opposite, and the opposites attract, okay? So I would say that what you love in other moments, when this has to do with your own triggers. Why your own triggers? Because this is your opposite. This is going to cause you to feel the opposite as well. Like maybe you are actually going to feel annoyed. Annoyed with what? With this part of this person that you have actually fallen in love with. But why? Because now you are in this moment with your own triggers. So now this part of this person is not as loving as it has been until now, and now this becomes annoying and upsetting. Why? Because maybe you are in one of those moments where you don't consider something, important or etc., and the other person is. Now, because you are just feeling this way, you are not going to appreciate that the other one is maybe getting emotional, etc., about this same thing. So now it becomes annoying for you. But I want you to remember, you are feeling this way because before you recognized this part of the other person within you that you actually liked, okay? And it could also be that you are maybe so in this connection with yourself, but this part of you really within you knows that you also have this, that you are actually very sensitive, but because of all these barriers that you have put for yourself to maybe protect yourself from not getting hurt, you are just not able to reach that. And this person is only in your life to try and make you connect with that and to see that within you. Okay? And it's the same in the opposite way. Guys, if you are very sensitive, sometimes it's good as well to not really feel that much, so that person being heartless is just a way as well maybe to let you know, it would be okay as well to calm down a little bit, and not really feeling so much. Okay? So this is one thing. Another thing is, guys, from all the possible insults, someone calling you a snowflake, not a big deal. You know what I mean? I mean, from all the things that you could be called. Guys, but this is why I'm using this example, because you know, the fairy tale called The Ugly Duckling? So this really applies here. Why? Because between all the ducks, okay, this one that is different is, and that, you know, all the ducks are calling ugly, you know, blah blah blah, it's in fact a swan. I mean, I hope I'm not, you know, giving a spoiler here, but you know what I mean. So that could mean that this is actually good. It doesn't have to be bad. It's bad in the sense of from who is seeing this. For someone who is really not in touch with their emotions and not really in touch with their heart, and seeing you being that, you know, that you are sensitive, etc., for them is going to look like there's something wrong with you. You know, you are not right the way that you are, okay? And here are like some things that I would like to say as well. The first one, if you happen to be the swan and you happen to be like this, let's say it like higher frequency emotions, and it's not that I want to say that there's something wrong with being not that sensitive, okay? But if you happen to be that person, it could be that you feel that there is something wrong with you. It could be that you have been playing the pattern of I am inadequate, like the swan. So the swan, instead of just seeing who he is and appreciate the beauty of his being, thinks because of the exterior doesn't match him, that the problem is himself. When it's not, it's just that he has a different nature. He is not a duck. He's actually a swan. Okay, and actually, it's really beautiful, you know, guys. But if you have the pattern of I am inadequate, you could have been spending your whole life thinking that there's something wrong with you, and maybe there's nothing wrong with you. 99% chances that there's nothing wrong with you. Obviously, I'm talking about if you are not doing really anything wrong, like harmful, you know, to the world, etc., etc. You know, that we are just talking about an aspect of you that, you know, you are just questioning yourself about, just because in your external haven't been able so far to meet more people with that aspect, okay? Or maybe you have just met like 1, 2, 5 people in your life with that aspect. I want you to pay attention to that as well, because first of all, it could be, or remember, that the moments that you have met this person with the same aspect that you are being criticized about, feels natural to you. Like, you know, you just connect with someone who happens to be as well sensitive, a snowflake, and you actually realize, oh my God, this person has actually the same values that I have, and etc., etc. Like, it's a swan recognizing another swan, and all of a sudden you start thinking, oh my God, maybe there wasn't anything wrong with me, and you even start like feeling more relaxed. But the point is getting to this yourself, okay? And we know this is the journey, maybe the journey of life, of fully acceptance, of fully, you know, unconditional self-love, you know. So this is one of the things. The other thing as well is that, guys, how we are going to grow and to create a change if all of us are just the same. So with this, I want to say, as an example, that imagine that you are in a football club. Everybody, you know, only knows about football, so everything is about football, okay? And all of a sudden there's someone who plays basketball. So, using this analogy, okay? For the whole group of football players, this person who plays basketball is going to feel like very different. You know, maybe they are going to hate them because what are they doing? Like playing basketball. What is it, basketball anyway? You know? No, we are like this, we like how we are, you know, blah, blah, blah. But that's the thing. If you keep being in this circle of people, everybody is the same, you are not going to grow. I'm not saying that the basketball player is going to be a good influence for you. Nothing like that. I'm only saying that this is going to create a difference. And because of this difference, this could actually be an opportunity for you to open up and to know more things. This will not happen if this person keeps or is as well another football player. So the basketball player is actually showing something else to you, and maybe something that has actually to do with you. And most of the time, guys, when this happens, and even though at the beginning there is like this resistance, you know, like, no, we don't want that, no, this person is not welcome, you know, etc., etc. At the end of the day, someone starts realizing, you know what, maybe there could be actually something good about that. You know what, actually that game, you know, that he's playing looks fun as well. You know, maybe I would try that. And all of a sudden this is good because this creates like, you know, growth and to open the heart more, and like even to find a middle point between the basketball and the football, you know? And it's like this integrated sort of like game between the both of them. So it's going to be the same, you know, with the person who is more sensitive and the one who is not. You know, if they are like complementing each other and are willing to learn about each other, this actually creates, you know, this growth. And it's just this, you know, like both of them have these aspects within them, you know, guys. So from here, and talking about like these different frequencies, it's good that you are actually the one who feels more or who is more sensitive. Why? Because the other person is here. Okay? Now, because the other person is here and you are showing them this other aspect, which is like nicer, which is like more like it creates more, or it could create more beauty, you know, in this world, or more harmony in this world. I'll get into being really too sensitive, okay? But before we get there, since, you know, we are more connected to the heart and to the feelings and, you know, to each other, and we have more compassion, it's like we are holding, or this person is holding, nicer standards. So if, guys, you happen to be this person, and because this other one is telling you, oh, you are like that, and you are actually feeling offended, and or that there's something wrong with you, and you lower yourself or your standards to match the other one, like the swan was doing, you know, with the ducks, like trying to be like a duck, but it's a swan. The moment that you do this, first of all, you have lost yourself, but second of all, there is now no other points of reference. You know, the only point of reference now is this level. There are no more levels. So if all these people are just insensitive or heartless, or are calling each other names, or are just not being nice to each other, okay, now there is nothing else to read. This is what it is. That's it. So I would say keep being true to yourself as much as possible, because it could be that you are there specifically to show them another way, that you could be more like a light in their path. Okay? So remember that if you are lowering yourself to match others' standards, this is what's going to happen. Okay? And so actually it could be that they are like in pain, guys, you know? Because most of the times, if you are just not in touch with your emotions and you are just disregarding everybody else's, and etc., etc., it's probably because you are in pain, okay? And there's a reason as well why you keep disconnecting from yourself, and there is a valid reason for that, but most of the times this is what it is. So actually it's or it could feel to you that having this other person in fact is nice, and maybe, you know, the thing why or the reason why you are insulting them and calling them that is because you would like to be more like them, and maybe you can't, and because you can't, or you have tried and it's just not happening, or not just now, you could prefer, you know, just to give up and, you know, yeah, you are like this or like that. And what's the point, guys? You know what I mean? What's the point? I would recommend, you know, just to do the work with yourself, to listen more to yourself. And if you do realize that there is like someone in your life who happens to be nicer or with standards that you would like to have for yourself, before getting so feeling very annoyed or insulting them, etc., etc., you know, just have a look at yourself first, see what you feel, and from really understanding yourself and seeing what's going on, you know, then act. And then if you still feel like calling this other person whatever and whatever, you know, just do it because this is what you feel. But sometimes there is really no reason to reach, you know, those levels, okay? Now, remember I said I wanted to say something about really being too sensitive. So this is what I want to say. First of all, who has said what's like the start point or the limit for people who are sensitive, or, you know, what is the set point? Who has said that? So imagine that we are now, or we could be in a society where actually, you know, these people who were just being very annoyed and, you know, sort of like not behaving nice, blah blah blah, have been like listening more and more and feeling more and more, you know, like I could add like more sensitivity, you know, in my life, and they actually start like being like this. And let's say that this is the whole world, okay? So all of a sudden the whole world is not here. All of a sudden the whole world is here, okay? Now from here, okay, let's say that there is someone who reaches like a higher state, okay? So now from this other perspective is going to look like the rest of the world could be heartless or insensitive. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden the standards are not here anymore. All of a sudden the standards are here. And from here, if there are more people who have reached like a higher level, all the rest are going to be now insensitive to their eyes, right? So this means, guys, that the more that humanity is evolving, the standards as well are being different. If you look like how our ancestors, you know, were treating each other, and how maybe other countries, you know, when people keep treating each other compared to other ones, you can see actually that there's a difference in the standards. There's a difference. And now there are some things that wouldn't be allowed, or that are not allowed anymore, about how to treat people, you know, guys. So maybe in the past they would be calling someone who would feel like hitting a child, you know, was perfectly okay, and saying like, no, guys, this is not okay, you know, and they would be calling this person, oh, you are too sensitive. Now all of a sudden now in some countries, and like hopefully the whole world, we could be or we will be in another level where none of that is like nice anymore, and then from here we have another set of standards that we can grow from, you know, guys. So who is setting the, oh, you are too sensitive or not, like compared to what? But also say that if you have been called a snowflake or like too sensitive, it doesn't matter. Something else, it really doesn't matter, but something that actually could be like a nice thing that you could think, I think that this is actually a nice thing. How can you tell if this is a nice thing? Do you feel at peace when you see the people around you when you are this way? Do you see that this is helpful? You know? And obviously, don't try to only see yourself through other people's eyes. But what I mean is like if you see that, you know, people are getting happier, you know, because you are this way, that obviously you are not causing problems, blah blah. You know, just ask yourself all these type of questions so that you can see if, you know, this thing that you have been called of like that this is bad is really bad or not. Okay? But see yourself as well in the sense of, if someone is telling you, oh, you've got black hair, and you actually feel offended, or you feel a reaction for that, you know, pay attention. Pay attention, because maybe you could be in the path of being too sensitive, you know? But also, it would be the same again. If you don't have, you have fully accepted yourself and there is no judgment about this part of you, if people are calling you this and you feel nothing, you know, it means nothing as well, okay? Because you are just not judging that part of you, you have just fully accepted yourself. So we would get back to the same thing, like how are you really feeling when someone is telling you this? So now guys, just to finish this with more content. I was talking about just recently on my last video about mirrors, okay? So I'm going to leave the link above, and I think now it comes up below as well, for that episode so that you can have a look. If you want to pause this video, watch that video first and then let's continue with this one, because this is going to be a sort of like a continuation from that. In this case, when it's like these two opposites, like the heartless and the snowflake, we could call this an opposite mirror, okay? Why? Because you really have been looking within you, inside you, and you really are, or most of the time you are not heartless, and the other person does the same, and most of the time they are actually too insensitive, you know? So then it's like I was saying before, what can I learn from that? Could I bring a little bit more of that into my life? You know, instead of being so insensitive, could I maybe pay more attention to how I'm feeling? Could I be more with my emotions? Could I be more empathetic, you know, with how the other is feeling? You know, and the same in the opposite way. So, but the continuation from that, what is that continuation? The continuation is that there are 4 laws for the mirror law. What are the 4 laws? The first one, if what the other is telling me or talking about me, if this is affecting me, okay, this is something that the other is bringing to my attention so that I can pay attention to, okay? So, you're heartless. You feel it. This has something to do with you. You need to pay attention to that, okay? The other one, if you are seeing something in the other that you actually love, that you actually like, this is talking about you too, because the other is bringing into your life something that you have forgotten that is within you, but you have it inside. So you see the other one being very sensitive and you actually like it. Because remember guys, at the beginning I was saying that probably the qualities that you have fallen in love about the other are also the ones that could be triggering you, okay? But, oh, this person is sensitive, I like it. What you like, okay, you actually have this within, right? The other one, when the other is saying something to you and you feel nothing, like, oh, you are a snowflake. This has to do with the other. This has nothing to do with you. And the last one, if what you see in the other is annoying you, this is an aspect of you that you need to pay attention to, because maybe you have rejected that within you, or you haven't allowed yourself to be that way. For example, maybe it could be annoying for you that the other is very irresponsible. Right, check yourself, because if you are annoyed by that, it could be that you have denied yourself to be this way, or that you have judged yourself for being this way. Like there was something wrong with being irresponsible. I don't know, maybe your parents taught you that you couldn't be responsible for whatever reasons, and you are taking life, in a sort of like too responsible way. But if what you see outside is annoying you, pay attention to that, okay? Now, 2 things that I'm going to recommend to finish this video. The first one is, and this is like so difficult and I know it, when the other one is calling you something, if you can be in that state of non-reaction and, no response, just in presence, try to listen. Listen to what? Really listen to what the other is saying. So if you can be in that neutral point, where obviously what they are saying is not annoying you because it's just not reaching you, listen to what they are saying. Oh, Marta, your name. You are a snowflake. You are too, I don't know, irresponsible, you are selfish, you are blah blah blah. Okay, just listen. Why listen? Because maybe this person is actually telling you something that, could be interesting for you to consider or to pay attention to. Like if you're in that moment of maybe even compassion, you could see that the other one obviously is feeling hurt by, I don't know, something that you have done, so maybe you haven't realized, and by that person calling you all that, you can actually now pay attention to your own actions and, and see, oh, you know what, maybe actually this person is right, and yeah, in that moment I was being selfish. Oh wow, okay, thanks for letting me know. You know what I mean, guys? This is like so annoying for the ego, and you are not going to feel comfortable doing that, because if you are in those stages where like the reaction, the first thing that you want to say is, no, I'm not like this, blah blah blah. But if you are able to just step back and just to consider, okay, just for yourself, just check it. It doesn't mean that the other person is right, but I'm just saying you could check it and see what comes up for you, and just because this person could be just telling you something that actually could be true, who knows? And like that, you are not even playing the game or getting into any argument or anything like that, okay? So like, peace keeps being there. You don't need to call the other one any names or anything, because now you are in that state. And the other thing that I'm going to suggest as well is to check Byron Katie and the worksheet called Judge Your Neighbor. Now, I think I have mentioned this in the past. This is very, very helpful to see yourself. Why? Because when you do the work in Judge Your Neighbor, you need to write, you need to be so honest, okay? And when you start writing this, like I think the first sentence that you need to write is, in this situation, I feel annoyed because whoever called me selfish, okay? Or because whoever did that. And now you actually need to pay attention to some questions. Is it true? You know, can I absolutely know that it's true that this person did that or said that or blah blah? The answers are always yes or no. I suggest you to watch some videos on YouTube where she is actually having like a session practicing this, and to do it together with them, because it could be confusing if you are just doing this on a piece of paper like, you know, they recommend, without knowing how this works or anything. So I would suggest, there are lots of videos there, to watch how she does it. It's very easy. It's only 6 questions. You need to write the 6 statements. Really easy, like in 10 minutes this can be done. And then it's when the work comes, okay? And then there is something called turnarounds. And with that, you are actually able to see yourself as well. And most of the times, because you actually need to feel it and to do it, you know, you don't need to listen to me, and you won't get anything, you know, just by listening to me and understanding that, because this has to be a feeling thing, okay? But from my experience, you see yourself, and what you actually criticize about how the other was or what the other was doing has more to do with you, even 100% with you, than with the other. So I invite you to try that as well. And I'm just going to finish this episode by saying that because there are snowflakes, there are also flowers. Because there is the winter, there's also the summer. I love you guys.